Hey there, everybody. In today's English lesson, we're going to talk about good versus bad parenting. As you may or may not know, I am a parent. I have two children, two girls, so they are my daughters. And the other night, we were watching a movie called Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's an oldie, but a goodie. So it got me thinking about this topic of parenting. Later at the end, I'll give you a summary of the movie. But we're going to look at some vocabulary words, practice your pronunciation. We've got a bunch of sample sentences to help you practice these words and how to form sentences with the basic grammar structures of the English language, and also some basic idiomatic expressions to help you practice with, and even some extra resources and links in a text for you to put this all together. Okay? So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the first word here. Parent. Parent. Okay? I've already used this word a few times in the introduction, but just to help you practice your pronunciation and also to eliminate any confusion. Because in Portuguese, this word is often confused with the word relative. That's because in Portuguese, the word parente means relative. Now, relative is your extended family, your grandparents, your uncles and aunts and cousins, and everyone in your family is one of your relatives, all right? But the word parents refers to your mother and your father. So you only have two parents, all right? So I just wanted to clarify that before we got started. We're talking about parents, your mother and your father. Good. Now, parents have children, right? The word children is plural. The singular is child, all right? There's a difference there between the singular and the plural pronunciation. One child, two children, or three children. You notice that the word child has a long I sound, and the word children has a short I sound. So we say child, repeat it with me, child, and children. Children. Good. Fantastic. Children can be boys or girls. So if it's a boy, we call the child a son, all right? And if the child is a girl, we call her a daughter. Now you notice that the word is spelt with the GH there, but we don't pronounce the G and the H. It's silent. So we aren't saying dogeter, all right? You can actually just basically cross that out, and it's almost as if you're saying daughter. Does that make sense? Okay. Repeat it with me. Daughter. Daughter. Good. Fantastic. So when parents have a child or children, sons and daughters, what do? They raise their children. Raise. Okay? So you may confuse this with the word grow. Raise and grow are often synonymous. You can say he raises the crops, he grows crops on the farm. But when we're talking about children, the word is raise. You don't say he grows the children, all right? He raises his children well. Fantastic. Now, the children grow. Children grow and get taller as they get older. So children do grow, but when you're referring to what parents do, their job and their responsibility as a parent, they raise the children, all right? Using these two words here, take care and look after, all right? So parents take care of their children, or they look after the children, all right? They're actually right there watching the children, looking at them. So you can say they take care of their children or they look after their children. Oftentimes, in a family, between the parents, one will go out and work to make money, and the other will stay at home and take care of the children, look after the children. So we call them a stay-at-home mom, or if it's the father who stays home, we can call him a stay-at-home dad. Or they don't look after their children, you know? Many parents that you see, they don't really look after their children, take care of them. The kids run wild and they run free. So, but a parent's job is to support their family, right? So usually the father and sometimes even the mother will go out to work and make money to support the family, to provide for their family, all right? So what do parents provide for their children? What can you think of that your parents provided for you or that you as a parent would provide for your children? I've listed a few here. First of all, food, right? You buy food to feed your children so they don't get hungry. Shelter, all right? Shelter is the house or the apartment, the place where you live. A safe shelter for your children to sleep well at night and be comfortable and feel safe. Shelter. All right. Also, you provide clothing for your children, right? You buy shirts, shorts, shoes, skirts, basic clothing items for your children. Also, they provide an education, a school for their children to study, or some parents homeschool their children. Education. And of course, last but not least, very important, parents provide love for their children. They love their children, nurture them, and take care of them. Excellent. Any questions? If so, just leave a comment below and let me know so I can answer them, help you out, or even record a follow-up video for you. Good. Let's continue on. The phases that children go through, right? When you have a child, when it's first born, you call it a baby, right? A small baby. When my children were very small, they were babies, I could hold them in one hand, put their head here, and their legs would stretch out down to here, and they were babies. Then as they grow, they begin to walk, all right? When children are about 1 to 2 years old, they start walking. They don't walk very well, they toddle, okay? Toddle means to not walk very well, kind of stagger around. So you call children in this age toddlers. Now, oftentimes they call children that are 2 years old that they are in the phase of the terrible twos, all right? You know, when children start walking and they can get into everything and make a mess. Let's take a look at the word childproof. When children are toddlers and they're misbehaving and they get into everything, you have to childproof things so the children can't access it. So if you have bleach or poison that you have in your house, you have to lock the door so that the child can't go in and drink the bleach, for example. Okay? That would be dangerous. So you have to find a way to child-proof your house or child-proof things that the children can break. And they start learning how to react to the world. So oftentimes they'll refer, they're going through a phase, they're in the terrible twos. It's that time period when kids can be really irritating, right? Of course, mine never were. My children are angels, right? Little halos on their head, of course. So, as children grow, they become adolescents, right? They grow, they get bigger, they become an adolescent, okay? My daughter is 10 years old, going on 11, and she lets me know frequently that she is a pre-adolescent. All right, and then when the child reaches 13 years old, we call them a teenager, right? You have the ages 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Those years, the teen years, they're a teenager. And then finally, after 18, then usually they're considered an adult. Even though actually legally they're not an adult until they become 21. But after they're young adults, you can actually call them adults after that age, I guess. Or maybe I'm just making this stuff up. I wouldn't know because my kids haven't reached that phase yet. They're still in this phase here. When children are in this phase here, you have to raise them well so that you don't spoil them. When you spoil a child, you give them anything they want, you let them do anything they want, and they become little brats, right? Those little kids who scream if you don't give them what they want, that you just want to take and give a good whipping, right? So back to spoil, all right? Say it with me, spoil. Good. Now, in the past tense, or when you want to refer to something being spoiled, you can add the ed. So the pronunciation is spoiled. Okay? It's not spoiled because it's got the L at the end. So we pronounce it as a D sound there as part of the syllable, just a continuation. Spoiled. Spoiled. So you can say spoiled brat. Little child who's irritating because they get their way and do whatever they want. And if you don't let them do what they want, they throw a fit, They scream and cry and make a lot of noise until you let them have their way. That's not very good. It's not a fun phase to go through. So you have to deal with that. And later in another video, I can give you my 7 secrets and sell you my new $47 book on how to raise perfect children. Just kidding, okay? I have a lot to learn here. I'm still learning. Anyways, when a child throws a fit, you can say they're having a temper tantrum. Temper tantrum. So that's when the child screams and kicks and stomps his feet and makes a noise. He's throwing a temper tantrum or having a temper tantrum. You never did that, right? When you're a kid, of course not. I know. All right. So when children are misbehaving, they are often punished by their parents, right? So how were you punished as a child? What did your parents do to you when you disobeyed or you misbehaved, when you were bad? I'm sorry. I know you never did. But your brothers and sisters and your friends around you, when they misbehaved, how did their parents punish them? Did they ground them? To ground someone means they stay in their room for 3 days or for a week or more. Or you can spank them, right? Spanking, you get a spoon. When I was a kid, my mother had this long plastic spoon. And I got spanked a lot. Yeah, I know. I wasn't good. I was pretty bad. So I got spanked. Or you can take a branch of a tree, right? Here in Brazil, we call that a cipó. And it's a long branch, especially off the guava tree. They're very firm and flexible and they don't break. And when you get hit with one of those, ooh, it hurts. Or a belt, right? Your father could often just take off his belt and whack you with his belt. Very good. So we have a few expressions here. Like father, like son, which means that a child is a lot like his parent, his father, right? Or like mother, like daughter. We can also say the apple never falls far from the tree. The apple never falls far from the tree. So that just means that there's an apple tree, and when the apple drops, it drops down, right? So it means that children are near close to where their parents were. If their parents were good, then we can say that the child is going to be good. If the parents were bad, we can say that the child will probably be bad. So for example, if the child's father was a very bad person, irresponsible, and then the child grows up and does something bad, you can say, the apple never falls far from the tree, right? So there you go, folks. That's it, our quick lesson here on good versus bad parenting. Go ahead and leave any questions or feedback in the comments below. Let me know what you thought. I think maybe I chose too many words and tried to rush through here too fast. So if you felt that way, let me know and I can slow it down in the next lesson. Or if it was okay, you thought it was good, and you want me to continue creating lessons like this, then make sure to let me know as well. And remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your family and friends who want to learn English. I appreciate you helping us spread the word. And if you'd like to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/EXL English to be a part of what we're doing here. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you in the next video. God bless and bye-bye.